everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for January 9, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Reverse Aging Health Call Friday, tomorrow night, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Interestingly enough, quote from Julia Cameron, "The creative process is a process of surrender, not control." Many of us created certain emotional and psychic shields when we were quite young in order to survive our childhood. These walls were necessary at that time to protect us and keep us safe. Yet, as adults, if these barriers are still up, they are blocking you from feeling love, compassion, and intimacy with others. These walls are also stopping you from manifesting true financial freedom, abundance, and even profound health into your life. It's because your brilliant light is still hiding behind one of these old, heavy, unnecessary shields. Now, the question may arise that aren't there some situations where it's good to protect myself? And it all depends on how spiritually advanced any of us are, and what lessons we still need to learn. Now, if we know we are an infinite being that will never die, then what is there to defend? That which is real cannot be harmed. So why protect it? Yet, if you're still healing wounds inside the ego and creating an identity that needs certain boundaries, then it will feel blatantly obvious there is something that needs protection. You may need to be as strong as a mountain to stand up for your rights in order to one day let them go. Yet 99.999% of the time, we are not surrounded by angry, hungry tigers. And this defense mechanism is just an old unconscious habit blocking us from total liberation. The need to defend ourselves is what actually makes our ego appear real. The ego, however, is like your shadow. How ridiculous would it be to see someone protecting their shadow from getting touched by sunlight? This is how we look when we defend our ego. If or when we want to become a superconscious, awakened spiritual being, then stop protecting your ego. Any type of defending that you do is just coming from a place of fear, insecurity, and weakness. Defenselessness is about doing no harm on any level to any being. It is truly living from a place of peace with all beings, and will only manifest peaceful situations. When you look at the fact that, we all have ego mind, and the only thing that we ever defend is our ego mind. And it's interesting, if you saw, like I mentioned, if you saw a bunch of people trying to defend the shadow, which is, let's say, the ego mind, trying to defend the shadow of the ego mind from the sun hitting it or shining on it. You picture that scene. As an eternal radiant being, we are impervious to attacks from the outer world. This infinite beingness has never been harmed by vicious words or energy. All negative energy passes right through without touching the beauty of our timeless consciousness. As we awaken more and more to this realization, we will automatically notice the stillness and uselessness of holding any walls up with anyone. These walls block the love from flowing between you. And once you see this, you will naturally take these walls down and let the brilliant light of your infinite nature shine through. You see, we have been trained without our knowledge to do all this, to protect our ego, to have fear, worry, stress, ignorance. We've been trained to live in these bodies that way. And the only thing, some people might say, well, there's outside interference. Someone could come up to you and stab you or hit you or something like that. Only if, through the ego mind, you've decided to put yourself in a place that would create that situation. And you would have people debate that, of course, still protecting their ego minds. We haven't, to say the least, fully embraced the fact that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting, abundant beings that never die. These bodies are vessels, or however you want to describe them, so that we can experience physical material life. That's what they're for. We're the power. We always have been. But, you can convince, if you do it correctly, so to speak, you can convince anybody after a long period of time that there's something else. See? And no question or rebuttal, you say that, this is the way I am. No ifs, ands, buts about it. This is the way I was trained. This is the way I was raised. This is the way I was influenced. This is the way I was programmed. And it can go on and on and on. And one might say, well, how the heck do you turn it or shift the gears? You begin by meditating. And there's a big... Now, why do you think most of us aren't meditating on the planet? Right? Well, the majority of people believe that meditation is boring. Okay? It's also not active to them. They believe that they should be doing something and being productive. And meditation to them isn't productive. Isn't that crazy? But that's how they view it. And meditation is praying to the God that you are. So in meditation that we've been doing here on this conference line for almost 7 years. We'll hit 7 years next month. Every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every day for almost 7 years. And then after February, February 7th, we'll go into 8 years. And the purpose of it, I get letters all the time from people all over the world that say, how it's assisted them. And some of it's very profound. But see, it's only because we choose to. And the meditation is really the only way that we are going to move out of this prefabbed illusion. where we've been taught and trained and programmed to believe a certain way, think a certain way, walk a certain way, be a certain way. And also taught that we are not powerful, that we're weak, whatever words you want to use, and that easily controlled and directed. Well, see, a lot of the things that are happening right now, it's like an open book. It's like a sealed container that was kept from us for years and years and years, and now it's been opened, and we're actually seeing things and comprehending things that we would not have done before. That we begin to realize that we are the masters and commanders of everything that occurs on this planet, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And we really haven't shown our true selves, ever, because we've been so inundated with all this goop that's thrown on us. From the minute we come out of the mother's womb, all the way through into adulthood, and then leave the body. Now we have more and more awareness pouring in to this planet, where more and more of us, due to our own choosing and our own childlike curiosity, are opening up the doors, the windows. We're starting to find out and figure out that we are the power on this planet. Not a select group. It's always a select small group of off-worlders and mix-mash of Homo sapien and human on this planet that literally control everything and everyone on it without them being aware of it. See? Now, there's things that you learn and you say, okay, so let's remember, we're not in this. We are not in it. We are watching it. You learn a lot more watching from the outside than being in it. And being in it's dangerous because it's really easy to step into it and become it. Frustrated, fearful, angry, upset, irritated, sad, depressed. All of that is ego mind. So when we identify this, we say to ourselves, I'm not going to step in that. I'm sure as heck going to watch it, though. I want to learn, I want to see, and I want to really know what's really happening. When you stir I don't know if you've ever done this. Maybe you have, or maybe you've witnessed it, or maybe you've seen it on, picture scope or TV. And a hornet's nest, right? It's usually pretty quiet. You have the hornets, and they're minding their own business. Someone goes up with a stick and stirs it up. So the hornets come after you with a vengeance. They don't like to be disturbed. They don't like to have their home or habitat violated. This is what you're witnessing on this planet right now. The dark forces have been violated in their eyes, and they are now doing everything they can in a revengeful way. Pain, sorrow, anguish, destruction, death, the whole 9 yards. Some of us know this. We're aware of it. We knew that there were certain things that would appear as we move further and further into the light. And we just knew this. It's connected. We're all one, all the gods that we are. It's not like we're surprised by it. But we choose to focus on what? Yes, we see this all happening. We focus on what we want to have happen. In the midst of all of this chaos, we focus on what we want to have happen, not what we don't want. And that's it. See, that's a real fine line when we talk about the ego mind, when we talk about distraction, we talk about all these things that are happening. It's easy to say, okay, I'm not gonna step into that. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna be observer, a watcher. And then something happens and you end up stepping into it. It's not a negative thing. It's just, but you say, well, time out. I stepped into it. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna sit and meditate. And then we have a lot of people asking, why is this happening? Okay. Why is this actually happening? Well, when you disrupt something, deeply disrupt something, and that something is in complete denial of that disruption, and then all of a sudden starts to look at it and say, they don't care to have that. They want it the way it was, where everybody was asleep, and they had their way with everyone. But that doesn't work anymore. Doesn't work. Yeah, is it still played? Yeah, it's still played. You know, any of us that have been around so many years, we witnessed certain things in our society and the human psyche on this planet. We've seen things, some things very appalling to us that we would just as soon remove it from our experience record because it's so offensive to us. See, our natural state of being is not murder, death, kill, destruction. It isn't. That's not our natural state. As a species, we are not a violent, aggressive, destructive species. Now, there are those that beg to differ that because they say, well, you know, this species shoots first and asks questions later. Anything it doesn't understand, it attacks and tries to destroy. Why is that? Well, the monster is created through those who, through subversion, deny it the truth. And this civilization has never had the truth, not even a smidgen of it. Every single thing has been prefabricated and directed to misguide and misdirect us. But with the God within us and the pure consciousness, we're always on track. So that frustrates the lower negative energies, frustrates them. They don't like it. They'd rather have us in a passive, controllable state. And it seems like right now that, and if you're too close to it, and again, if you're not just watching it, what happens is that you become part of it. And you don't even know that you've become part of it. But you start talking more about it, you start immersing more about it, you start interacting with others that are doing the same thing. And it's depressing. It's saddening. It's disruptive. And see that energy through the ego mind, how we direct it? It's not like we're ignoring it or running from it. But we choose to focus on what? Where attention goes, energy flows. So we focus on what we want, how we want the planet to be. Okay? Not in a vengeful way, but just how we want the planet to be. For not just a few of us, but for all of us. If you really want to know the true power that we are, the more of us that focus on that, watch what happens. And I don't mean superficially. I mean deeply and eternally internally. Sooner or later, we will more and more embrace the gods that we are in these bodies. It is an inevitability. It is not something that will never happen. It's something that has already begun. And the direction is up to us to spend that time and what direction we choose to be in. Now, if we're in a habit through ego mind, most of the people on this planet are in what direction? Worry, stress, fear, anxiety, right? Depression, all of it. Because it looks like the end of the world. And many people believe that. So they're focused on it. And when we know that, we have to have a counterbalance. There is a balance always, in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. When that balance gets out of balance, okay, things get mucked up. But when you identify the fact that things are out of balance, we put our attention on balancing. So right now, this planet is going through a massive liberation. No matter what, all of the talking and the talking heads and the propaganda and oh, this is just released and this was leaked out and blah 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 blah. Our focus is on a planet that is at peace. Across the board. Doesn't matter what's going on right now. This too shall pass. Believe you me. But we've got to be careful because of how we've been trained, of course, to not involve ourselves in such a deep emotionality through ego mind that we are absorbed by it. This is where the power comes from. This is when you get a majority of people on the planet believing that it's doom and gloom and the end is near, what are they going to focus on? Right? They're going to focus on the end is near. Even when it is total bunk. But they believe it's real, it's true. Then there's other part of us that say, no, I'm going to focus my power on how I want the planet to be, how I want things to be. What number one is peace, right? No more caustic interaction, letting go of things we've carried for generations within us and coming together. We've heard this before over and over again throughout the ages. The unify and come together, right? Now that won't happen unless we focus our attention and power on how we want things to be. You don't need super weapons, you don't need plasmatic ejection devices to destroy and burn and eliminate and everything. That is so archaic. See, when you look at destruction is chaos. All of that comes from where? I don't care what species you are. Ego mind. Now, if there was no ego mind and it had been mastered, none of this craziness would be happening. None of it. But what are we learning? As watchers, we're learning an immense amount. Is that, we don't care to have this happen ever again. For good reason. We want to build our civilization. We want our civilization to flourish, expand exponentially. We want our civilization to be super healthy, happy, geniuses that continue to create, co-create major breakthroughs. Eliminating the box mentality of this civilization, which has been thrusted upon it through hundreds of thousands of years. And basically disintegrate the boxes, and then we realize that we can walk free and be free and wild and free anytime we choose, which is our natural state of being. There are a lot of things that we have been convinced without knowing, and this is how we live. Now, you discovered for yourself that you find out that all of this stuff, okay, for eons and eons and eons, we've all made up. And then you discovered that the reason things occur the way they occur is because you are not consciously aware of what you are focusing on. You're not. You're not focusing. You're not. So what happens? Well, the more people that focus on something, it is inevitability that they will create it. It is. It's inevitability. It's like you get all these people talking about all different things, their perspectives, their how they were influenced, and why they are the way they are now, and that they believe who and what they are, which is not true. On who they believe, who they think, and what they are isn't true. So we look at everything, and it's a choice. So we get aware enough, and we have the confidence, faith, and trust in ourselves at 100%, and in this universe, that we're able to create anything we choose. That's a fact. And not get in the way of it. See, the ego mind gets in the way. And it totally negates it. Never reaches us. 9 times out of 10. We're so used to experiencing a life like this. You know how many times we've been around this dog and pony show, so to speak? Thousands. So it's like time for a real shift for all of us. And this is where more and more are focusing on what they want. Not in panic, right? Not in fear, but in bliss and peace, which is a choice. And as I've shared many times, it's a proven fact, wherever you focus, wherever you're looking, particles appear. That's a given. Wherever you're focused, wherever you're looking, particles appear. When you take your attention away, particles disappear. See, we have always been, always will be, ever beyond and forever, omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. It's the bottom line. Now, to embrace that fully, then we would look at all of this stuff. It's almost funny. It's almost like we kind of left things alone. We left things, right? We took this long sabbatical or trip, and then we came back and were totally appalled at what had transpired and what was going on. So then we all came together and dispersed it. And now your ego mind will always tell you, oh, come on. How many times have you heard that? You're not really powerful. That's, comic books and movies and stuff like that. But you are. But it isn't, like guns blazing and bombs bursting and all that stuff going on. It's that you intend what you genuinely want and you manifest it. That's everything. We are master manifestors. But when you're a low frequency, negative frequency, and you want to control a high frequency, you convince the high frequency, right, of things that aren't true, and that the high frequency embraces as true. And that's what's happened to us on this planet. Slowly but surely, becoming more accelerated every step of the way, every moment to moment, we're beginning to realize that We are the power. No one on this planet, or anywhere else for that matter, has any real authority over any one of us, any of us at all. So people will say, oh, well, we live in a lawless country, a lawless world. There's no law anywhere. There's no protection. It's just open. It's an open arena, so to speak. Everybody can do whatever they want, and there's no checks and balances. Right? People are saying that. Who is the law? Who is the law? We are. But if they're successful in keeping us disunified, then that means they are. So it's by choice that we've decided that we are, and we will stick to we are. Who's the balance? We are. Who's the love? We are. We choose how to fabricate, put together, weave the lives that we live, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. But what happens is that once you, just even a small kernel, small speck, that you discover that you, in that body, are the God. The God is housed within the soul. The God is pure consciousness, all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And you are that God. We all are that God. I mean, supremely, omnipotently powerful. Why? Because we don't really have to lift a finger to shift anything. We just focus our attention through heart-mindedness, and it changes. Period. Now, the dark forces have their opposite, see, where they have groups of people trying to negate what we're doing. Believe it or not, they do. They're not out in the open, but they do. They have it. So they believe that they can negate our power. Funny thing is, they're part of the God. Period. So our intent is to shift into higher frequency, end all conflict. We end all conflict by mastering ego mind. See, there is a direction for every one of us to embrace and to start more and more embracing the power that we are to shift things energetically on this planet, and all of us that are part of it. You've seen what one being on this planet can do and how one being can influence billions, right? So there's no way at all that you should doubt your power. It doesn't matter what your status is. It doesn't matter how much you have, what you're doing. What matters is that you embrace the power that you are. One of us can influence millions or even billions. You're seeing it right in front of your face. Now, is that being any different than you? No. Are they a God in a body? Yes. Are you a God in a body? Yes. So, are you a part of each other? Yes. So in the quiet time of this meditation, we literally are shifting the direction of this planet and the civilization. Not through revenge, but through love. And we're directing the love all over the place. And we're focused on what we want and not what we don't want. So we stay focused on what we want. No matter what's going on outside of us, we stay focused on what we want. In deep eternal peace, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, 24/7. Always in deep gratitude. And if from time to time you step in the cow pie, which is the ego mind, you will know it. And you'll very quietly and kindly just move yourself out of it, go into meditation, and focus on the now. This is how we're transforming this planet and ourselves. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose. And an easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on the breath rising and falling. This moment is the main course. Indulge yourself deeply in this delicious, delectable moment of now. Savor the divine ingredients that your past memories and future thoughts are offering you today. Totally consume this moment of now so that you may be consumed by the now. Sit and devour this ordinary experience of life because it is an absolutely phenomenal experience. Notice how each bite is fresh, brand new, and unlike any other. Savor the others in your life, yet be sure to enjoy the richest, creamiest snack of them all. You're definitely the most delicious one. Enjoy. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here Friday, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. A little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on out there or within. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.